Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and coming to you guys bright and early this morning. It is currently about 5:25 a.m. Getting you guys out an episode, so you guys have one. Today we have an early day. I actually have to go do an in-service at one of our hospitals. Now with me taking over for one of my teammates that left, Alex. I now took over some of his accounts as well. And because of that, I'm not always able to be at every surgery. Sounds like they had a surgery that maybe didn't go so great yesterday. And so I got a call yesterday afternoon asking that I show up at 6:30 to do an in-service this morning. It's about 35 minutes away from my house. So we will be leaving here soon, but I wanted to, like I said, get you guys an episode, get you guys a podcast. Before we get started, if you can, press that like and subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, a 5-star review helps us grow this channel on the podcast. And just want to touch on a couple things for you guys. Again, if you guys are looking for a free 30, 60, 90-day plan, when you guys are doing your interviews, you can just go to newtomedicaldevicesales.com, put it in, and it will just shoot it right over to you. You guys will also be added to the email list where I put out weekly blogs that are going to be just helpful, weekly emails that are just helpful for you guys with breaking into medical device sales. And then if you guys are interested, you can grab that guide for breaking in, where it goes over how I got 4 job offers from top 30 medical device sale companies with no previous sales experience. You can grab that New Medical Device Sales. And then also I have my new book out, First Year In, just going over my first year, explaining how I took the lowest performing territory in the nation and we just hit quota. Now we have a month and a half to go, so everything now for us is bonus. And then also just going over everything that I've learned and everything that I've done during this last year. Now it's a year and a half in medical device sales. But with that said, let's get into today's episode. Today's episode, I really just wanted to come to you guys and just like have kind of just like a real talk of, you know, what to expect, what you guys should be feeling like when you guys are going through these interviews, because I'm getting a lot of people who reach out and a lot of them are brand new. So if you guys are listening the first time, welcome to the podcast. But it's the biggest thing is just touching base, you know, like what's going to help separate yourself, why you need to be doing the networking, and then just going in deep with that. And then also, if you haven't, you know, I think this is the 86th episode of the podcast. So before you guys reach out, just go back, listen to a good handful of the podcast, because I promise you I probably answer every question that you can ever have. And then like I was talking with Pierre on our podcast on Monday, the biggest thing is a lot of times people will listen to these podcasts and then they'll reach out to me after like 1 or 2 episodes. And the reason that's not the best thing for you guys is it doesn't help you, for example, because a lot of times when you guys do that, you call me, then you ask me questions that I've answered literally 1,000 times. There's some questions that I literally go over almost on every podcast and touch base on it. And then what happens is it's a disservice to you, because you're not going to get the most out of our phone call. Because like I tell people, I try to get on phone calls several times with people, but like honestly, it's one and done kind of thing. If I can help more than once, I do. But like honestly, I get so many requests and so many phone calls. And again, trying to run a territory where I'm up at 5:30, I'm going to be going nonstop today. Like it's just tough. So I always tell people, I never save your numbers. If you text me, that's great. But a lot of times if I've talked to you already, it's kind of like the one and done kind of thing. Here, I'll give you help. Again, not always. I help out when people have questions about going through the job interview and stuff like that. But for you guys to get the most out of the calls with me, make sure that you guys are researching, have good questions, especially like me and Pierre were doing, is like, if you guys are going through the interview process, I can help like go into your situation and I can tell you what I would do personally and give you kind of like my advice to that situation. But when you guys come and give me like general stuff and especially where do you work? Again, that's 10 seconds to get on LinkedIn and look at that. That shows me that you guys don't do your research and that I try to jump off the phone with you guys as fast as I can, because again, I don't have time to find somebody who's like just calling me to talk. I don't want to talk. That's why I do the podcast, right? I love to talk, but I'm not just calling or talking to people to talk. I'm wanting to be helpful. So if you guys are going to reach out to me, make sure that you guys have gone back, listen to the podcast, watch a couple of the days in the life of a medical device sales rep on my YouTube, so you guys can just get the feel. And then you guys can ask me questions surrounded about that, so I can be as helpful as I can and answer specific questions. But really just wanted to talk on, especially with people reaching out lately, that's been kind of one of the things, is just being prepared. And so that's what I kind of want to talk on, is being prepared. Like right now, everybody knows, when you're going into medical device sales, you got to network. And I've said that a million times. And I don't say you got to network because it's fun to do. I don't say you got to network because it's like, it's a good thing to think of. No, you got to network because that's literally the only way you're going to break in if you don't have sales experience, because nobody's going to look at your resume and be like, oh, you don't have any credentials that we're looking for. Here, let's give you a shot. It doesn't happen. You got to go make your own way. So again, it's what I've said a million times. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You got to go. Every job offer I got was from networking. It's by meeting somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. And you guys just got to go do that. Then also from there, you guys got to just come prepared. You guys got to come with good questions. You guys need to be looking at different things so you guys know what to understand, what the division is. If you don't, great questions to ask. Understand what the company culture is like. If you don't, great questions to ask, right? Like that's things that you can look on, but you can also ask someone specifically that shows that you're interested. You know where they work, or what division they're in, but you can ask specific questions to them. So again, it's showing that you're very interested in them. And then again, when you guys are going for interviews, it's, being prepared. Do you have your resumes printed out? I was just talking to someone we're going to have on the podcast. I'm excited to have her, who hires. And there's people who didn't bring their resumes. There's people who were printing it out 5 minutes before their meeting. Like when they were meeting, she could see them sprinting around trying to print it out. Like those people won't do well. And she doesn't hire those people because you can't do that in this world. You can't come to a surgery and then check when you're in your car if you have the right stuff. Because if you do that and you don't, now the whole surgery can be screwed, right? So like that's why I tell people you have to come prepared. They're just looking at you and seeing how are you going to be in the job. And then one thing I want to touch on when we're going about the interview process is I hear this all the time and I have to explain it. So I think it's a good thing to touch on here on the podcast this morning is the whole job of a medical device sales interview is to convince you why you're not a good candidate and why you should not take the job. And they will literally tell you, we don't think you have what it takes. We don't think this is a good job for you. And they want to just see how you respond. I've had people like message me and they'll be like, they were so rude. They told me I didn't have any experience and they would never hire me, or they don't think I have what it takes. Like we all face that when we were getting broken. Like I tell everybody, my final interview with my VP that I got the job for with the company I work for now, the final interview was that there was a panel of 4. He had to jump off and he says, Jake, you sell personal training for $60 a session. We sell contracts that are over $100,000. I don't believe you have what it takes. You have 2 minutes to change my mind. That was my final interview question. And I gave a good enough answer to get the job, but that's like just straight up, like that was a straight up my last question in the interview process. And so that's what I'm just saying is they're going to tell you, like the whole time I was a personal trainer, I was like, I love helping people. They were like, oh, well then you need to just stay with what you're doing. Cause I feel like you're helping more people and making it gratification, instant gratification and getting to see that and actually getting to see people get help. Like they were trying to convince me why I should stay in my current role and not take this job. Right. And then I had to be like, no, I totally understand where you're coming from, but here's why I want to break in, but here's why I'm looking to change. Here's why I will be successful in medical device sales. And you have to be able to just combat that because it's no different when you get in and then you're talking with a doctor. Not every doctor I go up to, I tell them about my product and they're like, oh, sounds great. Let's do that. No, most of them are like, doesn't sound anything special, or no, I like your competitor better. Right? So you're going to get pushback no matter what. That's part of sales. And so during that interview process, they're just trying to see how you're going to respond. They're going to ask you questions or basically tell you that you suck and you're not good enough to see how your facial expressions are, to see how your body language is, to see how your voice is. Because again, you're going to face some of those uncomfortable situations in the interview process, but in the real world. Like when you're an actual rep. And so there's just literally, it's just a test to be like, hey, if we were doctors, how would he respond? If we're in office, how would he respond? Like I joke around on here all the time. A lot of times, like that call I got yesterday to come do this in-service this morning, it wasn't a very friendly one. It wasn't a very fun one to get, but I'd take it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into a hospital today where they just had a case with a doctor that went horrible yesterday. and it was very uncomfortable is what they said. Now I get to go talk to those people. You think they're going to be like, Jacob, thank God you're here. Yesterday went great. Let's talk. No, it's going to be, I walk in, they're going to be already upset and they're going to tell me how bad it sucked. And then they're going to be pissed off because I wasn't there. And then I'm going to have to talk with them, let them know my situation, and then also make sure that they feel comfortable. So that's why I just tell people, you got to come prepared. You got to know your stuff, and then understand that the whole time you guys are going through this interview process, it's trying to tell you why you're not good enough, because they want to see how you're going to handle objections, because it's no different than once you break in. You're going to have to handle objections. You're going to have to come prepared. You're going to have to be ready to go and get told no a million times by people and still come back and have a smile on your face and be energetic and be ready to go, right? Like, there's just so much with it. So I did just want to touch on that, because I talk with a lot of people. They get discouraged when they're like, hey, they told me I wasn't good enough to do what it takes, or they told me I don't have sales experience. That's okay. That's what's supposed to happen. Like, I am telling you, this will I say this to everybody on the phone. If you call and you do not have sales experience, they are literally going to say, we have a candidate who has worked at ADP for 5 years and is a President Club winner, and you don't have sales experience or clinical experience. Why would we take you when we can just go get someone who has a proven track record of sales? That's a question you will be asked. Like, I'm not saying that every time, right? That's a question I was asked. Why should we choose you over the person who already has been a proven sales professional, right? And you got to be like, no, I totally understand, but here's why I'm the best person. You got to, like, that's what we talk about all the time in medical device sales. You got to sell yourself. You're selling yourself. You're the product, and you're selling yourself to get hired in this job to go sell a product, right? But if you don't believe in yourself, or you get told like that's the thing about me, right? Like, I was like, you can say whatever you want. You can tell me I suck all day long. I don't care. I'm gonna prove you wrong. I literally would say this in interviews at the end. I was like, hey, this is like my company I want to work with. If you want to be with, if you would love to accept me, I can't wait to be with you guys and to grow this territory or to be successful in it. But if you don't, that's okay. But I will go and be successful wherever I go, because I just believe in myself, right? And I've had podcasts about just believing in yourself and being confident. But again, it's that unwavering, like, I don't care. You're not going to tell me anything and I'll be successful. And literally, guys, I'm just living proof of it right now. Like I said, this is never a brag for me to say I hit my quota, but you want to know how much I got told, like, even on LinkedIn, when I post my stuff, shut your mouth. You don't have any sales experience. Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're doing. You're too young. You're a rookie. Like, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're not going to be successful. You don't have sales experience. I literally have people still in my company call my manager to be like, hey, how's that kid with no sales experience doing? Because they want to see me. They're looking to see if I'm failing. But then when it's like, oh, he's going to be in the top 10. Yeah, good choice to the manager, right? Like, oh, that you saw the potential, right? That's what it is. And all I'm saying is, like, that's a self-belief in me. I was like, I told my manager, my closing to my manager is, I said, I know you're taking a shot on me, and I know you're putting your neck out on the line for me, but I want you to understand that I will never let you fail, because I'm not going to let myself fail, right? So I was like, I'm not going to let myself fail, but I'm sure it's not going to let you fail, because you went out online and now your neck's out on me. So I'll do whatever it takes to be successful. And so again, that was like my close, and again, it worked out. But I'm telling you guys, the interview process can be tough. They're trying to push you down. They're trying to make sure that you're not a good candidate, or tell you that you're not a good candidate, because they just want to see how you respond. So I would love to keep going on this, you guys. I want to ramble on, but I'll be honest, I have to get ready to go so I don't be late for this in-service and get yelled at even more. So I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you have a great Friday. I hope you have a great week. Keep getting after your goals. Keep going after this. Again, you guys have what it takes. Be confident. Do the homework. And the last thing I'll leave you guys with is, I say it on the podcast a lot, most people want to do the least amount of work to make the most amount of money. Turn it around. You guys got to start doing the most amount of work, because like I've mentioned to Cameron, and I know Cameron still listens to these, so shout out Cameron. But to everybody, like, you guys got to look like you're going up against somebody who, like, literally, I talk to the people who have nothing to lose, and they're doing this for their family, and they don't have a dollar to their name. Like, they will work 10 times harder than you. So, like, that's the thing is you guys got to come in. This is not an easy job to get hired. It's not an easy job once you're in. It's a roller coaster when you're trying to get hired. It's up and downs. But you got to come in and you got to be so confident in yourself that you're going to come in and crush it, that nobody's going to take it away from you. And if you get kicked down, guess what? You're going to get back up. You know, and they talk about it all the time. It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you stand up. And I will just tell you, I have this self-belief gosh, I can't even talk. It's too early. But no matter how many times I get punched and knocked down to the ground, I'm going to stand back up and I'm going to crush it. And it might take some time. I always joke around, like, what happens if, they see this and they don't like what I put out and they fire me? Well, that would suck, right? For a day or two or a week. But guess what? I'll just go take a vacation, go have some fun, and then get back on the horse and figure it out, right? Like, that's just the mindset I have. I'm not scared of anything, because you can't be, because life's going to happen. You can have a plan and then you get punched in the face and the plan's out of the way. So hopefully that helps. I'm just rambling now, but I hope you guys have a great week. Again, if you guys can, press that like and subscribe button on YouTube. If you guys are listening on the podcast, a 5-star review helps us grow this channel. And again, if you guys are interested in a 30, 60, 90-day plan for you guys to help you with your interview process, go to my link, newtomedicaldevicesales.com. You guys will just see it. It's right there. Put your email in and you guys will be able to put your stuff in to get a free guide, as well as you guys can come and sign up for the email list that we put out every week, putting it out Mondays right now. It usually goes out around 5 or 6 o'clock. And then also, you guys, if you are interested to learn how I broke in and how you can see the guide of breaking in with no sales experience, or everything I did to get 4 job offers, check out my guide to breaking into medical device sales, or my first year in. That's also going to just tell you how it's like once you break in and what my experience has been. You guys can get those both at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. So appreciate you guys. The show link is in the description, but I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.